can have the story. It's fucking going and getting it. They put in the fucking work. They picked the phone up. They made the dials. They got rejected. They didn't let a shitty day turn into a shitty fucking week. They were able to brush it off and go back to fucking war. That's what's gonna happen. A lot of you in here, you say you fucking want it, but you won't go do the fucking work to go and get it. I want the nice life. I want the nice car. I'm fucking sick of my bank account being empty. Then get the fuck up and go do the work. The life you have right now today is a direct result of the fucking decisions you didn't make. Your bank account is a direct reflection of the fucking decisions that you have not made or the work you're fucking avoiding.
I knew that sales would make me rich if I got good at it. I knew that. You guys are gonna have to learn sales skills. But watch. Sales skills, bad leadership, bad intentions, shitty life, hole in your heart, die with regrets. Sales skill, leader, you're the leader, good leadership. Sales skill, good intentions, hard work, self-development every day. You'll die a legend. Did you know that when you're working out like a piece of muscle in your body and you want it to grow, you know it doesn't grow until it starts to hurt? Do you work so hard that every day you go home and your jaw's numb? Like I've been talking all fucking day long, man, my jaw's numb. I emptied the tank today at the office. That's when you grow. Most people will never feel anything like this. Most people will never have a great body. Because if you say, I'm gonna follow this gym program and I'm gonna go in and it says do 4 sets of 10, how do I know at 10 your body has reached failure? Probably the real reps won't start until probably 12 or 13. 12 or 13 to 25 was where the real work was done. And 1 to 13 was junk. But the world tells you 4 sets of 10. Fuck 4 sets of 10. You guys get it? Now, 4 sets of 10 in a marriage, divorce. 4 sets of 10 as a parent, your kids will admire and look up to someone else and they'll choose them as their hero. 4 sets of 10 in business, you're gonna be broke your whole life. You'll never make it. 4 sets of 10, no one will ever wanna be you. You'll never change one person's life. You will literally die creating 0 impact. Now, I'm gonna give you guys a curveball for a minute. And I wanna take you guys up about 20 steps from where you probably thought you were gonna be when you came here. Number 1, if you do what Eric Klein tells you to do, this is for Eric, and you stay close to him, and you spend the rest of this quarter and 2025 with Eric Klein, you will end 2025 making 7 figures.
The non-negotiable KPIs, all right? If you have leads coming in, this is what you want to get every single day if you're doing this, the non-negotiables. You want to get a minimum of 3.5 to 4 hours of talk time a day, because you're not going to get a deal unless you are talking to a homeowner.
Hey guys, sorry to interrupt the video. Every day I have people text me to say, Andy, how can I make more money? And the number one thing that I hear is, Andy, I don't want to quit my job and go into this industry that says it'll pay more money because it's too risky. So my buddy here, Eric Klein, is literally teaching wholesale real estate, how people can keep their job and make low to 6 figures to mid 6 figures part-time, virtually from anywhere in the world. Now, why am I telling you that? Well, number 1, we have an event coming up. It's already sold out, but in 2025, we're gonna be running a streamline of events that are gonna be teaching this. If you're watching this right now and you wanna be close to me and you wanna make this kind of money he's telling you about, and by the way, full-time, you can earn 7 figures plus. So if you're watching this and you're like, dude, I need to know this, I wanna make money like that, whether you're a risk taker or you wanna play it safe, you just make mid 6 figures. I'm cool with that. I really don't care. Guys, text the number below right now. I'm gonna send you the dates of the events that we're putting on in 2025. When we release the dates, they always sell out immediately. Our next event sold out, I can't even sell you a ticket. But 2025 is releasing right now. I'll give you the schedule. Take a look at your calendar. If you can make one, it'll change your whole life. You've been looking for your way out. You wanna earn the money you've been wanting to earn. This is it. Text the number below. Let's get back to the video.
So by a show of hands, who in here can confidently say you're spending 3.5 to 4 hours a day on a phone? Okay, there we go. Very few hands went up, okay? So what do we need to do? If you're gonna take this serious, you need to take your KPI serious. Some of you may be like, well, I don't have enough leads to do that. Bullshit. Go to Zillow, go to for sale by owner, do whatever you gotta do, but you need to be talking to somebody that owns a home and see if they wanna sell it all day long. You wanna make a minimum of 60 outbound dials a day to a homeowner that wants to sell, okay? Everyone understand that? Did you write those down? Write down the 80-20 rule, 80-20 rule. When you're having these conversations with homeowners, a lot of you think you're getting on the phone to talk to them about a house. The house is the reason they're on the phone. You gotta figure out why they're trying to sell that thing. So I live by the 80-20 rule. 80% of your conversation should not be about the house. 20% of the conversation should. Does everyone understand what I mean by that? Yes? Okay. You're on the phone. The house gives you the ability to talk to them, but you gotta figure out what the money is attached to, why they need access to that, and ultimately the problem it's gonna solve. When you truly understand that, when you get on the phone with these homeowners, you become dangerous. If you get on the phone with these people and you think the conversation should be flipped, where 20% is just having the rapport and the fact finding, and the 80% is talking about the house, you will struggle. Because at the very end of the conversation, and we're getting ready to go over the 5 steps, if you do this properly, you have intro, you have fact find, you have pitch, offer, close. If you do this properly, step 5, the close, should be what? It should be the easiest part of the conversation. But when you the first 4 up, this becomes very hard. People ask me often, Eric, how are you so good at closing? My answer remains the same. I do the work you're not willing to do. Meaning, by the time I ask for the order, I'm talking to somebody that likes me, trusts me, and wants to do business with me. And until I think I'm there, I try not to ask for the order. Meaning, make the offer and go for the close. We're gonna start with step 1, intro, right? I'm gonna go ahead and click all these so they're up here so you guys have the chance to write them down, and then I'm gonna go through them. So, you also have the script. You guys have the script in the book, right? Yes. That thing's like 13 pages. I have scripted this conversation out. Now, Leonardo DiCaprio, I would have to imagine, without knowing for facts, he's probably in his prime, he was one of the highest paid actors out there. Would you agree with me? Yes. Right. So, before they ever said action and started filming that, what did they do for the director, the producer? What did they create for him? A script, right? But they knew, and then they auditioned, and they were like, boom, Leonardo's probably the best for this role. Then what did they do? They gave Leonardo DiCaprio the script ahead of time so he could go home, study. And then they're like, on this date, we're gonna start filming this, Leo. All you gotta do is show up on set. And he was like, boom, got it. So when they started filming it and they said action, right? The reason Leonardo DiCaprio gets paid millions of dollars to show up is because they know he's gonna know the script and he's gonna put his own personality and twist on it, right? So the reason I bring that analogy up is I've given you the script. I've given you a script that I absolutely know without a shadow of a doubt will make you millions of dollars because it did it for us and it's did it for countless other people, right? But once you know the script so well and you never veer from the 5 steps, I encourage you to put your personality into it. In the beginning, it might be you reading it word for word, line for line. where you literally don't skip anything. But as time goes on and you get more comfortable with the script, take it, use it to your liking. Does everyone understand that? Like, you might sound like a robot in the beginning, but I guarantee a 13-page robot sounds better than most people in the industry. Okay? So use that, stick to it. What you don't want to do is ever break from the process. There's a process. You have your intro, you have your fact find, your pitch, your offer, and your close. As long as you're covering all of that in your presentation, you're gonna be golden, okay? Got me? All right, so intro, write all this down, take a picture of it, do whatever you gotta do. It's quick and simple. Hey Connor, my name is Eric with TLC Home Buyers. How you doing today?
Doing well.
Awesome. Glad to hear that. I catch you at an okay time?
Yeah.
Perfect. It looks like your property was referred to me by a referral company. They said that you were interested in selling the house. Now, they did say that you were possibly looking to get your equity out.
Yep.
Perfect. All right. So what I want to do here today is I'm going to ask you just a few questions, and I'm going to see whether or not we're a good fit, right? And then what I'm going to do by the end of this call, is I'm going to let you know one of two things. We're either going to get an approval with an offer or a denial with a reason. Sound fair enough, Connor?
That's fair.
Perfect. Now, I know you've gotten a ton of these phone calls. I get that out of the way. I let him know. I know you've gotten a ton of phone calls. I know you get a ton of these phone calls. So what I want to do before I start asking you questions is I want to have you jot all my information down. Can you grab a pen and paper real quick? Perfect. Now, real quick, my name, Connor, is Eric. Go ahead and write that down. It's E-R-I-C. My last name is Klein with a C, C-L-I-N-E. You got it? Awesome. Now, the name of my company is TLC Home Buyers. I say the same shit every time. I don't have to think about it. The name of our company is TLC Home Buyers. You seen that TV show, right? TLC? Just like that. Tender Loving Care. Go ahead and write that down. Now, my website is, I give them our website. And then the last thing that I give them is I say, go ahead and jot my number down in case we get disconnected. You can call me back. I give them our phone number. After I say the phone number, I ask every single time without fail, can you please repeat that back to me? I don't ask them to repeat my name, the name of our company, our website, none of that. The only reason I ask them to say the number back is because, why, Tim?
Because people can't remember numbers.
People can't remember numbers nowadays. Eric Klein, if you said that, there's a chance I could say that back to you, right? TLC Home Buyers, pretty easy to remember. Phone numbers, the smartphones we all carry have made us all stupid because we don't remember phone numbers. Look, I only know one phone number right now, and that's my wife's phone number. How many of you in here have memorized 10 phone numbers to the close people around you? I saw someone like try to raise their hand. Think about that. So that's what, there's a method to my madness. I'm gonna say, hey, repeat that back to me. If they stutter or they get it wrong, I know they didn't write it down. But I wanna get them engaged. Does that even say this up here? It doesn't even say it. I wanna get them engaged. We're calling these people out of the blue. We don't know what they're doing. I wanna get them into the phone call. I wanna take control, and I wanna set very clear expectations. I'm gonna let them know by the end of this phone call, one of two things will happen. I'm either gonna say, yes, we'll buy your house, or no, it doesn't fit our buy box. But one of those two things, I promise you, will happen by the end. Why do I say that? Because so many people out there call these homeowners, they're not prepared, they don't know how to underwrite deals, they ask the same silly questions every time, they let the person go, and they never call them back. I've talked to enough homeowners where they've told me that. So I'm like, all right, I'm gonna put that into my pitch, get rid of that, and let them know on this call, I'm gonna give you exactly what you've been looking for out of all these other phone calls. You've answered the same question, what's the age of your roof, what's the age of your AC, and what upgrades have you done? I don't even ask those questions till the very, very end, because I try to separate myself from what you all say. Don't ask them, how much money do you want for your house? It's irrelevant to me. I haven't earned the right to ask this person, how much money do you want for your house? I don't know who they are. They don't know who I am. So if I ask in this, and I try to time for someone that's new, write this down. An intro, if done properly, should take somewhere around 1.5 minutes, sometimes 2 minutes. And you're all like, holy shit, I asked for like, how much do they want in that time? Step 2, fact find. Step 2, the most important step of all of them. You will find your homeowners, if you make enough phone calls, that as long as the number makes sense, they're gonna do a deal with you. Who's gotten one of those deals, right? You make enough phone calls, they're gonna sell their house to you. But to do this at scale and get consistent results where you can dial it in so well, you know every 28 leads you're gonna get a contract, that's treating every lead as if it's your last lead. Now, I'm gonna give you an example, right? I just went through the intro, had him write my information down. I said to Connor, hey, it looks like you're looking to sell your property to get your equity out. Now, these are leads coming from, they're outsourced, so they're coming from Run It Remote. Like the example I'm giving, if you're using a Facebook lead from Courtney, I would treat a Facebook lead just like I would treat a Run It Remote lead. I would treat a for sale by owner lead just the way I would treat a Facebook lead or a cold call lead. I treat all leads the same because it's a homeowner that wants to sell. I don't break my process. A lot of people are like, dude, you can't treat a PPC lead like you treat a cold call lead. Bullshit, you can't. Like the name of the homeowner might be different, their address might be different, their circumstances might be different, but my side of the conversation is always the same. Like always. I may twist and weave in some of the conversations that I have. Like I may go from step 1 intro and the homeowner forces me into step 3 talking about the house. I'm not gonna argue with him if he doesn't wanna build rapport with me. Like I'm gonna let him think he's controlling the conversation or she is controlling the conversation, but I know like if I go from step 1 to step 3, I gotta go back and get step 2 finished. You don't get this shit right, I swear to you this gets real hard for you. So what it means to find the why. If I call and I got the lead and I say, hey, I see that you're looking to get your equity out. And he says, yeah, that's right. I'm gonna say, awesome. Well, by the end of this phone call, Connor, what's gonna happen is one of 2 things. We're gonna see if your property gets approved, and if it does for our buy box, I'm gonna have an offer that's presented by our underwriting department. I take myself out of the equation that I'm not the decision maker. I'm not the one giving him the offer. It's my underwriters, because I know my very first offer more than likely is gonna be offensive. Okay, and I want to position myself when I make that offer that it wasn't me that made it. I'm just the delivery boy, okay? Now, if you position yourself right in some of your word tracks that you use, like I'm gonna submit everything to my underwriters, they're gonna look at the property and they will say one of 2 things. Yes, it meets our buy box, or no, it doesn't. When they look at properties, they look at them through one of 2 lenses. 1, to see if it's a fix and flip, or 2, a buy and hold. We buy properties for multiple reasons. I say that because your first offer is gonna be the low one. If I have to pivot into a higher offer, they may say, well, how are you able to come up to that number? Well, I went back there and said, hey, do you think this would work for a buy and hold guy that doesn't have to rehab the whole house? So there's certain shit that you can say. Are you following me? Yes? 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 All right. When someone says, I want to get my equity out, they could say, I want to sell because of a divorce. I want to sell because I want to get closer to my grandkids. I want to sell to downsize. It doesn't matter what they say. I always go into a third-party story. I want to relate to them. I'm going to say, Dracos, I completely understand that you're wanting to sell because you don't want to be a landlord anymore. I get that. You know what's crazy, Dracos? Is like the last 3 or 4 homes that I've actually gotten approved, they were all from people wanting to retire from being landlords. What's going on with these tenants nowadays, Dracos? Giggle, 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 right? I'll laugh after it or something. And then I'll say, Dracos, you know, the one that kind of stands out is the last property I got qualified. It was from a guy named Mitch. Mitch was awesome. He was like 72 years old. He was 72 years old, been a landlord for like 25 years. How long you been a landlord, Dracos? 12 years? Pretty good run?
Yep.
Pretty good run? Well, guess what Mitch did, Dracos?
What's that?
I want to get a response out of him.
Okay.
Guess what Mitch did, Dracos?
What do you do?
Right? Did you see how I was silent until he answered? I could have tried talking over him. I could have let the uncomfortability. I wanted to say, hey, it's your turn to talk. Did you hear what I said? And he did finally say, what's that? Well, Mitch, 25 years into being a landlord, he broke the #1 rule. You do not rent to friends and family members. And he let his granddaughter go in there. She was in there for 5 years. Everything was going great, had the family discount. But then the problem started where the rent wasn't coming. Started driving a wedge in between Mitch and his granddaughter. Before they knew it, no rent was coming. It was crazy. And the only way Mitch knew to get his granddaughter out of the house was just go and say, hey, honey, someone's buying the home. It's sold. That was the easiest way for him. So at closing, the cool thing was we closed. Mitch and his granddaughter were finally on good terms again, but Mitch walked away with, I think it was like $57,000. He was able to pay off credit card debt he had been saddled with for like 15 years. At 67 years old, for the first time, he was debt-free. So like, I get it, Dracos. You're saying you don't want to be a landlord, but why? And then I shut up. And I'm going to sit there, and I'm going to let him think. One of two things will happen. He's going to give me a real story now of why he don't want to be a landlord, or he's just going to say, I don't want to be a landlord. He could say, it's none of your fucking business. So I'm framing this because what most people do is Draco says, I don't want to be a landlord. And they go, oh, okay. And then they move on. But when really, that's what I got to figure out. Why the hell did he have an investment property that was supposed to be an investment property, and now he wants out of his investment property? I don't find that out by saying, oh, you don't want to be a landlord? Awesome. So let's talk about the house real quick. I'm moving past the important part of the conversation. So I use a third-party story, letting him know, and you should have 1, 2, or 3 third-party stories for like every situation. If Draco said, I want to downsize. You know what's crazy, Dracos? The last 3 or 4 homes that I bought, they've all wanted to downsize. You know, my mom once said, less is more. Would you agree with that, Dracos? I know. So the last guy was Mitch. You know, him and his wife had been in that house for years. And his wife, unfortunately, you know, fell and hurt her hip. And she hadn't been upstairs in like 6 months. I could relate to him because my grandma actually went through that. And what they were doing, they were going to sell that house, downsize, get rid of all the stuff, move into a condo to where he didn't have to mow the lawn anymore and they could be on 1 floor. So I understand you say you want to downsize, but why? Same thing. I let them know, I relate, we help them solve a problem, all that stuff. But if I slide by that, I'm missing why they want to sell. When I get to the close, I can't leverage the pain. And when I'm talking about this, I'm always standing up. I do a wireless headset every time. If you're sitting down, if I had a chair, do you think I could keep your guys' attention all day long? No, if I was sitting on a chair, I'd lose half of you immediately. So when I'm talking and someone says that, something about like a death or illness or their grandkids, something like that, I'm like, I've been through that before. I've seen my grandmother go through that. How many times do we talk to somebody where they inherited a house because one of their family members died? That's a real situation. A lot of you will just pass by that and go, man, I'm so sorry. I've personally never lost my parents, But I watched my wife go through that. It was it was horrible watching her. Still today, her screensaver. If I were to say, hey, honey, show me your phone, it's either going to be her mother or her father. On her screensaver, we're talking 5, 6, 7 years later. I can relate to you. It was horrible with my wife. Her mother and father died, and there's still clothes in the closet today. How long ago did your parents die? Sorry to hear that. Dig in. How long did they live in the house? Is this a house you grew up in? Wow. This is going to be a tough decision for you to make, I know. It's not about the house. Someone talks about an illness. Go in on that illness. Have the conversation you think is tough. What's a reason someone would sell? Give me a fucking reason. Divorce. Yeah. Man, Sean, how long have you been thinking about getting a divorce? 5 years. 5 years. Whew. I don't know if I should congratulate you or feel sorry. Which one?
I don't know either.
But I say that every time someone mentions a divorce. I go, should I be congratulating you or feel sorry for you? Because I want to know. He's like, no, f that bitch. I know what direction to go. If he goes, no, I walked in and she was cheating on me. God damn. Now I know what direction to go. But if I just slide past divorce and I'm like, hey, Sean, I'm sorry. No, she was cheating. Damn. So this house is the only thing tying you together with that woman? All right, well, me and you, Sean, we need to figure out how to end that today. If this is the only thing tying you to that woman, do you have kids, Sean? Yeah, there was 3 kids. Wow. So how do you feel about the kids? So if this happens, if the house gets approved today, this is all fact find. If we can get the house approved today, and I don't want to get your hopes up, trust me, I know this would be a big deal for you today to be able to put that to bed. If we can get it approved, let me ask you a couple questions. Are you and the kids staying in the house, or is she and the kids staying in the house? I want to know all of this. I can't slide past the information that's ultimately going to help me close a deal. What's another reason someone would sell a house?
I can't afford it anymore.
I can't afford it anymore. Bryson. You know what, Bryson? Last couple people I've talked to, they've been going through the same situation. Like, the economy is crazy right now. But one that actually hits home with me, Bryson, is my older brother, dude. I would not say dude. I slipped that in there. I typically would not say that on a phone call. But it hits home is my brother. I watched him for 21 years. He was happily married, 2 kids. I looked up to him. Nice cars, pool in the back, all of that stuff. Him and his wife went through a divorce. He got left with the house, actually, and he literally could not afford his house. So let me ask you a question. Like, what's changed to where you can't afford the house anymore? Yeah, I get it. Me personally, I haven't went through a divorce. Almost, but thank God I haven't went through that. Knock on wood. And I will literally do that and put my headset down so they can hear it. Knock on wood. I haven't. I'm the only one in my family right now today that hasn't went through a divorce. But again, watching my brother go through that. He was with a company for, I think, 21 years. When they got a divorce, dude, his life went to hell in a handbasket. How old are your kids? 5-year-old daughter. 2 boys and a daughter? Yeah. All right, awesome. Sports? If you were to sell the house, like, what's the next move? Where would you go? Would you rent or own? 6 months, divorce, not another decision maker. 3 kids, no job. He said, I don't know if I could qualify for another one, bad credit. This guy's desperate for cash. Now, if I didn't, what was the reason in the very beginning that we got on this? Through divorce?
Oh yeah, it was because I couldn't afford it.
Couldn't afford it. If I would have just said, oh, I completely understand, let's see if we can get you some money. All the information that I downloaded and collected, I'm downloading data to help with the dance at the end. And rapport. Because at the very end, I'm going to call on you. At the very end, when we get to a number that makes sense, or we're that close, Maybe we're 5 grand off, 10 grand off, 15 grand off. I can say, or he says, I need to think about it. No, not on my watch. I've asked too many questions for you to use that shit on me. Bryce, I completely understand you saying you want him to think about it. I know this is a big decision. But do you mind, Bryce, if I just recap some of the conversation we've had over the last 45 minutes? Got it. You got 3 kids, man, right? You love them to death. That divorce 3 years ago, that was hell on you, right? And I'm sure it was hell on the kids. Okay. You've been thinking about this for 6 months. You've been bouncing from job to job right now. You've already made your mind up, Bryce. You're selling this house. You made your mind up 6 months ago. So for you to tell me right now that you need to think about it, Bryce, what do you, like, let's dig down a little bit deeper. Perfect. So did everyone hear what he said? I'm looking on Zillow and the numbers don't match up. Who knows what Zillow is? It's a data company, right? Does anyone know how Zillow works? Zestimate, it takes all the data from houses around it and it gives you an average of what that house should be because the beds, baths, and square footage in your build, okay? That's what it is. It does not understand the condition of that house at all. It could be completely gutted on the inside and it could have a $300,000 price tag on it because Zestimate collects data and then puts that on a house. Everyone understand that? What I was getting at here with the fine, the why, you got to figure out why the hell these people are even on the phone with you. If you breeze past that, you're going to miss your opportunity.
If you're in a marriage and you say, well, if it doesn't work out, will that marriage ever last? Could you imagine? I mean, we're in a society right now where people are like, well, if it doesn't work out, there's got to be something else. Like, why does everybody need to quit everything? There is a time to, get into a different industry, which is what you guys are doing. It's super fucking smart. But if there's a plan B, you're never going to make it. The reason why most people never become successful is because they're really good quitters. They just quit all the time. My dad, who's married 7 times, he quit 7, got married, quit, got married, quit, got married, quit. How'd that work out for him? Fucked up, broken family, Jerry Springer life. Are you kidding me? Dude, he probably could have stuck it through on the first one. It would have been fine. But he couldn't make it through that deal. So with my wife, it's like, dude, we're together till we die. I don't give a fuck what happens. It's me and her against the world, and we're gonna die fighting. She's not my queen, she's my battle mate. You guys need to understand this. If you're going for this big life, you need to understand, what is it you want now? You don't have to, everybody understand this. I don't give a fuck what you want in 2026. This last quarter in 2025, if you can just stay in this thing, it's over. You will make it. It will happen. But I just need you to know that if there's a plan B though, if this doesn't work, maybe I'll just, get into crypto. It's fuck, man. No, you know what I hear you saying is that you're looking for something easier. Guys, to let you know, a great marriage is the hardest thing you'll ever fucking do in your whole life. Totally worth it. Being a parent, waking up when your baby's little and changing his diaper all night and staying up with it all night long and losing all your sleep and fucking hard, totally worth it. Most amazing thing ever. Dude, investing in somebody, even when they're not getting it and keep pushing on them and pushing on, and then eventually one day seeing them make it. It's exhausting, totally worth it, right? It's you guys gotta understand, if this success thing that you want is worth it, you guys gotta give it some time, you can't quit.